I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a neighborhood where people worked hard, made do, and had goals to just survive. It wasn't an environment where we talked about self-actualization, but we talked about stability. There weren't a lot of conversations about going to college, dreams for your life, or following your passions. But there were a lot of messages about what you were supposed to be like as a girl, what you were supposed to look like, what you were supposed to act like, the things that you were supposed to do. I heard a lot of things like, Lisa, be nice. Lisa, you're too loud. You can't wear that. Please don't eat that. That's not for girls. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't have language for it, but I was receiving a full curriculum about what was appropriate and acceptable for girls. What was too much, what wasn't enough, and I didn't fit the mold. I also had parents that didn't have the chance to go to college, and so they desperately wanted me to go. They pushed me because they wanted me to have a life that was better than theirs. I arrived with no roadmap, no sense of what to major in, how to manage my time, and the learning curve for me was really steep. I didn't have the right support, and so I found myself as an ambitious, naive freshman who finished her first year with a 1.86 grade point average as a pre-med major. So clearly, medical school was not in my future, but I had no idea what actually was. It wasn't until I took a course called Psychology of Women with Dr. Peggy Stubbs, and I still have this binder. Everything shifted for me. And it was for the first time that I had this knowledge, this new awareness that all of the stuff I had been experiencing and internalizing my whole life until then, it wasn't just me. There was names for this. Other people had experienced similar kinds of things. These messages, they weren't personal. They were systemic. They were shared. And that class was my first flicker. The first sense that there's something structural. And to me, that meant that something could be done about it. But what could be done, I wasn't quite sure yet. I believe that if we follow our curiosity honestly, it can lead us to our purpose. So that curiosity led me to volunteer on a rape crisis hotline, to go to school, to be a counselor, and then work in a school for girls who were involved in the juvenile justice system, to go on and earn my PhD, and then become a professor at Ohio State. I followed that thread, and it shaped everything. So what are you passionate about? I bet if we asked 100 people that very question, we would get 100 different answers. Let's say you're a middle school girl, and you were sexually abused by your basketball coach. You get to college, you find your healing, you find your voice, you find your purpose, and you dedicate your life to sexual violence prevention. Or maybe you're a Division I ice hockey player with Olympic gold medals, and you're frustrated because your team plays in a 500-seat broke-down arena, while your male counterparts get to play in a state-of-the-art 20,000-seat facility. So you shine a light on that inequity and refuse to let it stand. Or perhaps you're a mother of a much-loved toddler who doesn't wake up one morning. This baby who you so desperately wished for died in their sleep with no cause, no explanation. And through the agony of what follows, you discover a genetic condition that can stop a heart instantly. And so you dedicate your life to ensuring that no family has to experience what you just went through. Sometimes we develop passion that we never asked for, and what we do with that passion matters. For me, passion was developed over a series of experiences, a collection of circumstances, things that made me question why things are the way they are. I came to understand that my experiences are our experiences. Nearly universally, girls were experiencing the same things I was: frustration. They were upset about their body image, having difficulty in relationships with other girls, confidence challenges, all of these struggles that didn't begin for them when they were adults, but started maybe when they were in 5th grade. When we're trying to figure out who we are, at the same time, we start to question, dislike, and distrust ourselves. In my 2nd year on the tenure track at Ohio State, I decided to act. I'd never written a grant, never talked to a funder, and so I decided to write a $10,000 grant to the Women's Fund with this idea. When I got the call that we got funded, you would have thought I won the lottery. I was jumping up and down, I was screaming, I was so ecstatic. And I went to work quickly, put a research team together. We developed and studied an intervention that was designed to help girls navigate adolescence' toughest challenges, those confidence drops, the body image issues, the questions around their abilities to lead, the ways that they communicate and stand up for themselves. We designed logos, we ordered t-shirts, we collected data, and we learned what actually works. This is passion in action, and it gave birth to Rocks. What it also did was it drove me to leave academia and launch Rocks as its own nonprofit organization 15 years ago this year. And many of you in this room were part of making that happen. And the model that we use today is the same model that we started in that early work. Let's train professionals, teachers, counselors, social workers, school counselors to take that program back and deliver it in their home schools with girls where they know the girls the best. Let's give them a safe environment to develop the skills, try new things, listen to their own voice, say something that they've been wanting to say, and develop self-efficacy and the real skills that they need. Now, Rocks has impacted nearly 60,000 girls in every state throughout our country. And this happened because the Women's Fund, the women in this room, believed in an idea, believed in a concept when it was nothing more than a dream. So I thank you. I thank you because you did not just fund a program, you lit the match. Now, so up until this point, I've been talking a lot about passion. Passion sounds like the magic, but actually I think that passion is a mirror. Passion reflects who we are right now, what we care about at a specific point in time. It can come in loud and hot and take up a lot of energy in our brain. It can determine where we spend our money, who we spend our time with, where we devote our resources, and the relationships that we cultivate. But for many, passion on its own can fade. It can be galvanized by like-minded conspirators, but it can also be dimmed with a change in circumstances, a loss in stability, or when the problem becomes intractable. When passion is personal, when it's rooted in your season of life, your proximity to the problem, your current chapter, it can belong to you more than it belongs to the problem, more than it belongs to the issue, more than it belongs to the cause. So it can show up and take so much energy and be emotional, but then it can quietly fade. And I have watched passion leave. I've watched people who were on fire for a cause suddenly begin to go quiet. Not because they were bad people, but because their passion moved on. Their daughter grew up. Their career pivoted. Their company stopped supporting the work. Their season changed. That doesn't mean that they abandoned their values. It means that the cause was never truly separate from them. When their chapter ended, so did their commitment. And this is the precise point where passion becomes vulnerable. Passion is about the feeling. Conviction is about the work. We show up not because we feel, but because we know. So if passion is a mirror reflecting who we are right now, conviction is different. Conviction stays when your life changes, when you aren't on the stage, when the news continues to tell you that the hill just got steeper and the work just got harder. Rocks and the Women's Fund weren't built on passion alone. They were built on conviction. And that is the difference between work that lasts and work that fades. What keeps us fighting when the systems that are supposed to serve us fail us? And what keeps us motivated when every morning the headlines tell us that we're losing ground? It's each other. It's community. It's our collective impact. The knowledge, not the feeling, that this work is not optional. It's not women's work. It's not disposable. It's not dispensable. It is essential. And it endures because people like you, people like us, we choose conviction over comfort every day. Our passion must turn into permanence. This work will falter. We will lose further ground. Our daughters will be left with fewer rights and opportunities than we had. And I am not willing to let that happen. The work ahead of us is hard. The headlines are daunting. The hill is steep. But I've been in rooms like this for a long time. And I have never doubted that the people who are willing to fight for women and girls are extraordinary. You are extraordinary. We are extraordinary. Stay in the fight. Not because you feel it today, but because you know.